We're just going to address it. This is a blanket behind us. Did we get it from our bed? Yes. Is it hung up by nails? Yes. After the video, are we going to take it down and put it back on the bed? Yes. Let's start the video. Hey weirdos. So we are doing, as you can see, the most honest Q&A ever. And the reason that we are doing this Q&A, and it's going to be different from any other Q&As, because the other questions that you guys usually ask us are like, you know, fun, you know, silly questions, you know, like, oh, what do you prefer, chocolate, vanilla? Would you rather be in a cage with a tiger or 1,000 snakes? You know, it's just like this Q&A is going to be different because it's going to be more real. And these are the questions that, you know, we have gotten a bunch before, but we haven't ever answered because we've avoided answering them because
they're serious questions.
They're serious and they're personal, and it's very vulnerable to put yourself out there in a way that like lets everyone know like shit that you've been through.
Yeah. Can you talk about your toughest struggles growing up to where you are now, and maybe what you're most proud of?
Oh.
I think growing up for everyone is really hard, and especially, you know, if you're in the closet. That's super tough, I think, and you know, a lot of you can relate to that. I know growing up, I don't know, I think that was really my toughest struggle, was growing up and being in the closet and not really understanding these feelings I was feeling, because I didn't really have many people that I knew that were gay.
What we're most proud of? I think the fact that like we did get through it.
Yeah. And we're here.
Why is Alyssa always embarrassed when the conversation is about sex?
So the reason Alyssa gets really embarrassed and shy and uncomfortable when talking about sex is because of her childhood. She was sexually abused by someone, an older man, and yeah, I mean, that's enough to scar anyone. So yeah, it's a very touchy subject. It's still something that will, you know, probably never get easier.
Yeah.
Does that make her any less of a sexual being? No.
Yeah, I think that's one of the common things that like we have gotten, and especially with the video that I answered a bunch of like awkward sex questions. The one thing was like, oh, well, like Alyssa must be horrible in bed, or Alyssa must like not have sex, or how does Sam deal with Alyssa? But in reality, it's not that like I don't have sex, it's the idea of talking about sex, and especially when it's referred back to myself and like my personal life.
It's different for every survivor of molestation or rape.
All right, next question. What's your worst breakup ever? I mean, you guys already know mine. It was from Wisconsin.
I was dating this person off and on. It ended multiple times, but it ended, you know, bad in a sense that things were said, and you know, there was a lot of hurt just kind of thrown around.
Verbal abuse.
There was like, yeah, I mean, there was just like hurtful things said all around, so we don't speak anymore.
Did you or Sam go through a really dark time in your life? If so, will you talk about it?
I started drinking at a really young age, and I kind of got really deep with it. It took a while for me to kind of snap out of it and stop. Actually, from the time I was 18 to 21, I didn't drink. When I moved to California, I started drinking again. And, you know, I got in with kind of a group of friends, and, you know, I was trying to impress someone in particular that, you know, it just wasn't a good thing. There was too much dependent upon alcohol.
I guess for me, well, I was physically, sexually, and emotionally abused growing up. I'm not gonna get specifically like into details, at least not right now. Does YouTube affect your relationship, good or bad?
So here's the thing. YouTube does affect your relationship.
I think there's a lot of pressure when you put yourself and your relationship online. There's a lot of pressure to have to stay together because there's other people, in a sense, depending on your relationship. A couple days before Thanksgiving, I ended things with Sam. And
I know,
you guys didn't know that, but let me, I guess, just tell you why. It's not like it was bad. It was literally like 17 days, and it wasn't like, it was like a break. It was like, you go sit over there, I'm gonna go sit over there, and then we're just gonna come back together in 17 days. But it was like, I felt like myself personally was dealing with things, and I needed to take a step back. And it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her anything. It wasn't anything that she was doing. It was myself. It was working too much. It was stressing too much. I honestly felt like I was going through some sort of like depression, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, if that's what it is. I know depression is a real thing. I know it's a clinical diagnosis. I get that. I'm not diagnosing myself as depressed. I'm saying that's what I truly felt. So yes, we did end up going through a breakup, and that's the hard thing with like YouTube, is like we put ourselves out there, and
yeah,
if we break up or like if we don't tweet for a while or whatever, like you guys automatically assume that there's something wrong.